trail cameras are an integral part of how we manage our farms and manage our wildlife. Now I have 3 different reconyx cameras here, and each one has a different purpose in how I set them up and use them on my farm. So I'm just going to walk through how I personally set these up, and a lot of these features and benefits are on other cameras as well. Hyperfire II, this is your bulletproof camera. It runs 12 lithium batteries. This camera will last the entire season. It doesn't have an LCD screen. It has fantastic resolution for pictures, also has video and audio capabilities. But for me, I run this specifically as a picture camera. I want to inventory my deer. A lot of cameras we run, we'll put deep in the timber, we'll put in low access areas, and we'll let them soak. 1 month, 2 months, sometimes we'll let them run the entire season, we'll pull them out, and the batteries are still good. All of my cameras, by the way, I set up with code lock on them. I hate to say it, there are times that people come on your property, they walk in front of the camera, and they swipe it. This way, if they swipe the camera, they can't utilize the camera. So after I put my code in, with the reconyx, it's fairly simple. I just scroll over to setup. We go over to change setup, motion. You can put 1 picture, 2 pictures, 3, multiple pictures. I like to run a 3-shot burst. So when it's triggered, picture, 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 as fast as I can. That way, if an animal's coming in, turns its head one way, turns its head another way, I can see a series of pictures. I also know the direction of travel and some characteristics about the animal. 3-shot burst. From there, I go down to, do I want rapid fire? Do I want a delay period? Here in Illinois, we can't put things over minerals. We can't put cameras over bait. We got to put them on trails. They have to be triggered by the wildlife. So in this case, I put rapid fire. So this means if a doe walks through, it'll reset, and if a buck comes through, it's going to take another series of pictures. As many pictures as I can get gives me as much intel as I possibly need. So from rapid fire, now I can go to video mode. I choose not to run video on the Hyperfire IIs. I do that for the Ultrafire. So I turn the video mode off. Now, the delay, again, because I'm not on a feeder, I'm not on a mineral site, I want to capture as many images as possible, I put no delay. So 3-shot burst, rapid fire, no delay. Okay, sensitivity is high. This means you got to make sure you don't have any overhanging limbs, you don't hang any grass or anything that's going to trigger this. Is I want the smallest amount of activity to trigger this camera. These cameras are fantastic at nighttime as well. 150-foot range with the infrared sensor in there. It will give you a good crisp image. From there, I'm done. This camera now, it remembers all of my settings. It's bulletproof, it's done. So we use this camera to initially find all of our deer. So this is how I deploy, like on a new river farm, virtually all the cameras we have here, we're gonna put out, let them soak for a long period of time. From there, we move to the Ultrafire. The 2 main purposes of going to the Ultrafire, so it does have an LCD screen. I can view my pictures on this camera. So I like to run video mode on the Ultrafire. Pictures, video. Now I can do, again, video on both of them. I can do pictures on both of them. This is just how I choose to do it because the resolution, the audio on the Ultrafire for video is absolutely incredible. Now I can determine the age of the deer. I can determine, the antler characteristics. I can look at the personality. Are they timid? Are they more aggressive? And you start gaining all of that video information. You can start building a profile on your deer herd. So that's one of the reasons I like the Ultrafire. The other reason, brand new farm, I want to set up time-lapse mode. So I can go over here to time-lapse. It's pretty easy to set up. Scroll down. By the way, these drop-down menus are super easy to see on this LTD screen. So I click time-lapse, I move it to on. So I am running 1 picture every 5 minutes, and my scheduled time in here is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the reason for that is, as it's getting darker, more deer come out, and I'm cross-shooting these cameras. So I may have 4 or 5 cameras in one location, all triangulating an area that is, maybe 50 acres, 60 acres. From those time lapses, I can scroll through, look at all the deer activity and go, okay, they're coming off of this point, they're coming out of this cove. Then I can relocate these cameras and dial it in from there right to the exact trail that I'm gonna find that bachelor group of bucks during the velvet season or late season when they're coming out to a food source, and it helps me refine my tree stand location. So again, video mode, time-lapse mode, they're the two primary reasons I like the Ultrafire. Now, the big rage is everybody going to cell cameras. I love cell cameras. Obviously, they all come with data plans, and they all come with information that comes to your phone immediately. So think of this as your kill camera. This is the one you're going to set your MRI on, your most recent information. When you get information, you have exact intel to create a strategy, to create a plan, to change a stand location, or to look to harvest that buck. So I do not look at this as my inventory camera. Now, the basics, functions of this camera are the same as the Hyperfire II, which means don't forget to pull your SD card out. Don't rely on just what came into your phone. When you pull the card out, you'll see there's thumbnails, which all the low-res files went to your phone. Then you'll see the high-res files that you can drag to your desktop. A lot of times, there will be pictures on that SD card that never get transmitted. It's because they're in a bad cellular area, or in the case of the reconyx cameras here, they have a priority setting that prioritizes the picture instead of sending the actual cellular picture. And what I mean by that is that the cellular mode is triggered and is sending the picture, and an animal walks in front of it, it stops the cell signal, and it immediately captures the image of the deer that just walked in front of this camera. So, 3 cameras, 3 purposes. Okay, we find them, we inventory them, this is how we harvest them. 3 specific purposes. I'm not using my cellular cameras right now. These I'll deploy in the hunt season. I start my season off with the Hyperfire IIs, and then I put the Ultrafires on my field edge. I walk into the strategy until I can dial it in. And then obviously we're running solar panels on any established cameras there, so I don't have to continue to replace my batteries. And then there's different ways. We have screw-in mounts, T-post mounts. There's a variety of ways that we set up and deploy our cameras. Think about how you're going to utilize your cameras this year, the different ways to set up your camera, and you will definitely be more successful utilizing trail cameras as your main tool to harvest these whitetails.